It is July 21st, episode 44, week 44. Am I right or wrong? I don't even, am I? 44. We have crowned an NBA Finals champion. Milwaukee Bucks are your 2021 NBA champions. Down 0-2, they won 4 straight games to finish off the series in 6. And I think the number one thing that, obviously he's the story of today. He'll be the story of most of the whatever sports shows. If they're talking NBA outside of like, all right, what can we see gearing up for next year? Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to be the story of the season, the story of the offseason. Especially a postseason where luckily ended up being a hyperextension of his knee. A lot of people thought that if his knee was like that screwed up or effed up, he was done. And that was in the Hawks series when him and Trae Young were both hurt. Chris Middleton carried the team for a few games with Giannis' absence, but dude just put on one of the best finals performances in the history of the sport. Scored 50, I think 12 rebounds, 13 rebounds, 5 blocks. And I think the final number he went 18 of 20 from the free throw line. And this is a guy that, everyone was praying to go to the free throw line. He was not making free throws during this finals run. Him at the line, the whole crowd counting while he was at the free throw line, how long it took him to take a friggin' free throw. Last night in Milwaukee, just kind of he went down and gave us an all-time performance. I've talked on the podcast so many times about how much I love Chris Paul. I really want him to win. I was really rooting for the Suns. This is obviously a scenario where Paul didn't get the job done. Monty Williams didn't get the job done. But there's no one better to root for than Giannis. This is a guy that, and even a lot of the guys on the Bucks, came from nothing. Worked their asses off to get to this opportunity. I mean, Giannis has been in the league for 8 years now. He came in as an 18-year-old when they drafted him out of Greece. Difference in stature. I mean, in his post-game presser, he was like, I could have done the easy thing. I could have gone to a super team, played my part, won a championship. He decided to stay, sign the 5-year max deal, stay in Milwaukee, job not finished. Got it done. With guys that he's had around, and they, like I said, like we talked about the offseason, they brought in Drew Holiday. That was a big move for them. He was their perfect number 3 after Giannis and Chris Middleton. He was, in terms of talent and what he's done, Giannis will always have been able to go down as an all-time talent athlete in the sport. This man just won a finals championship. He won a finals MVP. He is a 2-time MVP, 5-time All-NBA, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, 5-time or 6-time All-Star. I mean, the resume is real. So for the people that were always on board of, well, yeah, I could do what Giannis is doing. If I was 7 foot and was 244 and could bully my way into the paint, that's not basketball. A big statement James Harden made. Giannis just scored more points in the finals than James Harden has ever had in any postseason game last night, ever. So, next, this is a person. This is a human who is so easy to root for. That truly is so good for this league, for this sport. a player that new generation right now, can easily look up to, root for, be happy for. Dude's 26 years old, and he has a Hall of Fame resume already. I don't think there's a doubt in my mind that Giannis has the capability to win another one. And what's crazy enough too is, like, we were looking at the Bucks possible another early exit, and maybe even if they didn't win the championship, they give him another shot. Mike Budenholzer was like on his way out to getting fired if they didn't have a deep playoff run this season. The last few seasons felt like big disappointments, having like the best record in the league the last few seasons, being that top dog team and not getting the job done. I mean, extension, here we come for Mike Bud. This is a fun series. I know a lot of people were going, all right, well, with the major names and like markets out, this series was so great for the small market and for Milwaukee, especially them winning. Regardless of market, Giannis is still top 5 player in the league, in the sport. He's a top 5 person, marketable to be in the sport. So that, I mean, Chris Paul, I wonder what I don't know what his next steps are in free agency. We know he wants another deal, maybe like a 2 or 3 year deal, averaging around $20 million. Where he goes next, I don't know. Another 2-0 lead blown by him. I think the Suns will be fine. I think the Suns are, like, this was their first taste, and I think Monty Williams, I think Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, that, their core, Cameron Payne and Johnson and those guys, they'll be back. This was a perfect test for them, with with the young core that they have. Like I said, it does this even in the finals, his first finals. It's going to be a shame, but it's the reality, is that Chris Paul is going to be known as one of the best players, and he got an opportunity up 2-0 in this finals. Can never get the job done. Now, Chris Paul goes to teams over the last few seasons as that veteran. He's made the teams better. Phoenix, he built up to the best team in one of the best teams in the West. The Thunder had no business being in the playoffs in last season in the bubble. They made the bubble. They even, got the Rockets to a Game 7. All things Chris Paul does, he does fantastic as a leader. But, in the words of Eric Gassion, can't get the job done. And it's a shame because a lot of the guys that we see in that era, not a lot, but like the main two, you think it's Chris Paul and Carmelo Anthony, and Melo never had the opportunity to even get to a finals. Chris Paul got the opportunity, best chance he had for himself, up 2-0. You lose 4 in a row. It was there for the taking. For them. And I said it last week. I thought the Suns were a better team overall. In transition, on the offensive end. Last night, they couldn't hit one outside shot in the second half. Turned the ball over a handful of times. I love him, and I'm always in his corner. Jay Crowder needs to make a fucking clutch 3 at some point. He did it all, and even last year when he was in Miami, did it all throughout the playoffs till he got to the finals. So now Jay Crowder's been on back-to-back finals, been on the losing end on both sides. That stinks. I'll finish it with this. Giannis. I mean, you can't, I'm very happy for him. It's awesome to see. A guy that just continued to get beat down as this, if you weren't freakishly athletic, like, you would suck in the NBA. And it just, like, he went, I fucking did it. I'm a champion. You can't take this shit away from me. Put on one of the best postseason runs, finals, one of the best final series that I think individually we've seen in a long time. And that's even, including, like, those big LeBron years with Cleveland. If you haven't checked it out, or it's all over Twitter. Giannis on IG Live a few times. He's on IG Live with he was on IG Live with his brother after the championship. They're both crying. It was awesome. Just like, his brother was so emotional, and so happy for him. It was awesome. And then today, went to McDonald's, I think, and he asked for a 50-piece McNugget because he scored 50. He goes 50-piece, not 51, not 49, 50-piece, and then he goes large drink. And I was like, "Are you gonna?" He goes half Sprite, half lemonade, and I'm going, okay, that's an MVP move. That's a power move. When he said it, large drink, I went, because he paused for like 10 seconds. Usually if you're in McDonald's, large Sprite, large Coke. I want a large drink. Half Sprite, half lemonade. Thank you. And I was just like, wow.